Greetings from American Samoa. So I apologize for the very long hiatus in making a video, but I have been extremely busy beyond what I could even explain. It has been nonstop school, work, more school. It's getting very heavy. I am nearing my very last courses for my doctoral program. Anyway, a couple weeks ago we had spring break, so I got a week off from work. It was really cool, and I did a lot of, honestly, work at home. I wrote my article, I revised it, I turned it in, I got feedback, and fortunately they accepted it. I am very excited to say. So here I am on spring break. I make my own butter because it's so expensive from the store. I just buy cream, I put it in the blender, I put it through a sieve or even just like a spaghetti strainer, and voila, butter. It's a lot cheaper. After you make butter, you always have this buttermilk left, and I couldn't leave it to waste, so I decided to make pancakes this day. Quick, easy. I think this day we were going to the library, so I decided to get my kids their breakfast with the fresh made butter. They were happy, and then we went to the library, which I'm embarrassed to say as a teacher, I should have done this right when I moved here, and I did not. It was the first time I had ever gone to the library, and I got a library card there. I actually needed to get some books for a writing project I'm doing with my class, and so I went there to get those books, and of course my kids got some books and some stuff to explore. It was really cool. They were especially fond of the Legos because we had to sell all of our Legos before coming here. We couldn't bring them, so they got to play with the Legos. So this was our little outing. Other than that, like I said, I was writing my article. This is my revisions. It was ridiculous, especially because this wasn't for an assignment or anything. This was just an article that I had submitted to a journal. One fun thing that we did, actually was the most fun thing, was we traveled to the little island of Aunu'u. It is a very, very tiny island that is part of American Samoa. You have to take a boat to get there. It's only like a 5-minute ride. So here we are on the boat. It costs like $5. It's really cheap. And then we just went to explore the island. The island was so small that we walked the entire thing, and I actually really loved it. So this island is actually where my dad was born. Although he doesn't know anything about it because he was a baby when he moved away to Samoa, the independent country. So he doesn't really, acknowledge being from American Samoa. Like, he just, considers himself someone from Samoa, which makes sense because he moved when he was a baby. But anyway, so here's when you get to Aunu'u on the other side. Here's the port. It looks like they were doing some kind of construction, and it actually was a little bit scary because there's no way to like completely stop the boat. So once we got to the other side, we had to jump off, and I had to hold my youngest. Even though he's 6 years old, I had to hold him so that he didn't fall in the water. Once we were off the boat, this is really all we did. We walked around, we looked at everything there was to see. The waves were pretty strong that day. We all really wanted to swim, but we just weren't sure that it was going to happen. And so, yeah, here's the island of Aunu'u. As you can see, so far there are no cars. In fact, we only saw 2 cars the entire time we were there, and it was extremely quiet. I actually loved it. I think I would like to live here because I just don't like people and noise and cars. And see, look, there's that truck. That was one of 2 that we saw. Here's a church. We saw 2 churches on the island. Here's one of them, an LDS church. The other one, I'm not sure what kind of church it was. We'll see it later in the video. So here we go on our little walk. Like I said, the waves were really strong. In fact, all over the island, they've been getting bigger even the week or so after this, because I'm making this video really late. Spring break was like 3 weeks ago. But anyway, the waves have been pretty strong. We've actually gotten a couple of earthquakes lately. They've been very minor, but I felt both of them. And it was kind of weird because I hadn't felt an earthquake since I was a kid living in Las Vegas. And one night I was asleep. Actually, I wasn't asleep. I was like falling asleep. And I felt the bed start shaking just a little bit. And it actually scared me to death. Like, I actually kind of thought I was about to be possessed by a demon because I felt the bed shaking. And then I thought, you know what, that might just be an earthquake. And when I woke up, I looked it up online, and there was a larger earthquake in Tonga. And so we were feeling like the aftermath of that. And then the second earthquake happened, I think like a week later. And I was actually teaching an online class, so I was just sitting there, and I was like teaching and I was talking to the student, and then the earthquake happened, and I just felt everything shaking. This one was a little bit harder than the first one, but it wasn't anything crazy, like nothing was falling off the shelves or anything. And in the middle of my class, I just stopped. I just paused because everything was shaking. And then I said, "Oh, sorry, there was just an earthquake." And the student looked at me like I was crazy. Anyway, look at these waves. Like, it was crazy. These are some cliffs that we found in Aunu'u, and it was amazing. Like, look at this. It's like 3 or 4 different landscapes all tied into one. Because if you look at this mountain, the way it kind of just cuts off, it almost looks like desert-like. It looks like Arizona or maybe parts of Nevada or something like that, like the Grand Canyon. But then you look at the ocean, and obviously it's full out ocean, big waves, pretty treacherous. And then off in the distance there, it kind of scoops in. I think it's from the waves, and the rock looked totally different. Up on this part, oh, here we go. Here's this, like the swooping part I was talking about. You can see the ripples in the rocks from the wear away from the waves coming in. The water was very clear, and there was a bunch of fish in these little pools. I tried to get footage, but I couldn't. And here's these cool plants. These are all over American Samoa. I forget what they're called, but when you touch them, they close up. This is just some of the village. It was extremely hot this day. I actually got a little bit sunburn, actually quite a bit sunburn. And here's the village. It was almost eerie because no one was out. I found the only school on the island, and it was during a school day, but I didn't see or hear any children. Here's the other church. I'm not sure what kind of church it is. And one thing I really did like about this island is there weren't any dogs hardly. Okay, yeah, we did go to the beach. Here's my son almost being swept away to his death. Of course, he was laughing and playing and having fun with his sister. I was a little bit terrified. We didn't play in it for long. After this, we had to leave. And that was about it for our spring break. And so anyway, I'll try to get better at making videos. I know it's really been hard because I have so much schoolwork, but I will do my best. Thank you so much for watching.